G'day, I'm Neil and my handle is Violin. I'm just going to put my disclaimer here. Whatever I do and say on these videos is well-intentioned and well-meaning advice. I accept no liabilities whatsoever for any disclosures. If you take some advice or act on something that I'm saying on these videos, you do so entirely at your own risk. I'm doing it based on my experience. These videos are my attempt to give back to YouTube for the help and assistance that YouTube has given me. So once again, you follow along or follow advice from these videos entirely at your own risk. Okay, and if you're not happy to do that, click this off and off you go. Because this is purely my attempt to give back to YouTube, as I said, for the help and advice that I have received out of YouTube. So this is just my little attempt to give back. If you're all happy to follow along at your own risk, buckle up, sit in. Let's get into it. Hey, good morning everyone and welcome. Hey, good coffee is brewing. Haven't got it yet. I'm looking forward to my coffee. Got a bit of an early start. I haven't even got myself sorted yet. Coffee's on. Hey, good coffee. Great news. Project Violin is back. We got a beautiful fine day out there. I'm going to take advantage of it to get out and sand all this crap off. All these marks, all this pitting, all going. Doesn't really show up on camera. It's really pitted, it's scratched, there's bloody marks everywhere. It was covered in crayon, it had all sorts of unlove going on, and I'm going to give it a complete rub back. So today I want to get all of this old lacquer off today. I want to get the fine grit out and give it a fine sand. And I'm going to think about doing something with this little guy. Just give me a second. I haven't really used this kit, you know, in any earnest way. Check this out. Okay, don't check this out. Okay, now she's getting hot. That is hot. If I put it on here, ooh, geez, better not put it on there. It's going to set fire to it. I was thinking of doing some patination. You know, it's getting hot. Look, you see the heat coming off it? Actually, that's doing a great job of that. Oh, she's getting hot now. That's working beautiful. I can draw with it. See? Whew. Toasty. It scores things up. It puts a charcoal drawer, so you can actually, it's a brand basically. It's a way of branding your work. I was thinking I was going to draw a dragon. A dragon here somewhere. Yeah, it's not doing it the way, not the right nozzle for the job. There's another nozzle. That is now super hot. Ow. It's not hot enough to score it. Go figure. It is super hot. Now I've got to put that down somewhere. Yeah, I've got a special place for it, don't worry. Got me cork. Oh, it's over here. What's me cork doing over there? Okay, now we're in trouble. It's sitting on the cork away from all the wires. Cork doesn't score very easily, it doesn't burn, it takes a lot to get it going. If you didn't know that, it's good for working with hot things on. I have a couple of cork, I think they're floor tiles. I've got a packet of 10 of them for like $10 or something, so they're very cheap. You put your cork mat down and you can go to town on it and it won't burn. Well, it won't burn until you really try very hard to make it burn. So there you go, Project Violin's back. I'm going to finish sanding it off today. Going to figure out how to make a dragon head, because this is a Chinese violin, it should have a dragon on it, and give it some love. I've got my heat resistant tape right here, heat resistant tape, and what my plan is to actually put the tape onto the violin, you know, and kind of get a dragon's head in between the bits of tape, and then score it. Lift the tape off, should have a really nice dragon's head there. And then I'm going to let the dragon, if I do it right, I should be able to tape around, give him a nice body, colour him in like tattooing, I guess. It's an interesting job. I'm going to practice on another bit of wood before I do it on the violin, to see if I can actually do it. I'm not the best guy at drawing. I'm kind of, you know, fair to muddling, fair to muddling drawer. I can draw stuff, but it's not artistically genuine to like if I was drawing me, I'd draw it up, you'd recognise it as me, but it'd be a likeness of me, it wouldn't be exactly me. And it's the same with the dragon head. I think this thing's going to be a likeness of the dragon head. It's going to kind of blend in with the patination I'm going to be putting across the bamboo before I stone it, and then I'm going to stone over the top of it so that the pattern is actually just a darker resolution on the wood than the rest of the stone. I think it's going to come up alright. Like, even if I don't put the dragon on there, even if I just stone it and go for it, it's still going to come up alright. It's got a long way to go. I've got at least a full day of sanding here today to get all this lacquer off. I want to do that today, get it finished. And then I want to go for the next bit, which is going to be to polish the wood within an inch of its life, sand it back, yeah, get it really smooth. Got to put the clear coat on. I've already got things masked off that I don't want a clear coat, so you know, once the clear coat's on, then I've got to give it a really fine sand and put a second clear coat on it. So I'm going to put the clear coat on, give it a very fine sand just to scuff it, and then put a second clear coat over the top, and then give it a coat of polish and just let it come right out. You know, so it's going to be well and truly protected. It's got a lot of love on it. Now the thing about it is that I've got wax there to push into the pitting that's occurred because it's been stabbed with a biro or some bloody thing through its lifetime. There's all sorts of pitting and cracking going on, and I've got that wax to just rub that in as well. So I've got to rub the wax in before I start going to town with everything else, or maybe after I go to town with everything else. I'm not sure, I have to look into it, but I want to get rid of the pitting. I want to do it with that wax and just get it to, you know, just to do the right thing. And then I can put the stain into the wood to get it stained up. It's only bamboo, so I've got to go very, very carefully. When I say only bamboo, bamboo is quite strong. It's resilient, but the way this thing's been treated, I don't want to find a weakness in it anywhere and then the whole thing goes to shit. I don't want to be gluing shit back together, that's for sure. I've already had to glue the neck of the violin back on where someone's had a good go at smashing it off. I've seen that, and I actually just clamped it and glued it, so it's been done. But I want to get myself moving. I've got a good coffee brewing over there. The 35-cent coffee is brewing. I want to get that. I want to get me brekkie. I want to get into it. And we're going to bring you guys along for the ride on the sand. So stay tuned and let's get into it. Cheers, guys. 35-cent coffee. Back to brekkie. Got me working togs on. As you can see, this is what happens when op shop t-shirts wear out. They become my little work shirts. This has seen better days. False alarm. No, not a plumber's crack there, folks. False alarm. Might have been one earlier. Might have been a false alarm too. Hadn't got myself organised really. I'm just getting there. Got changed. I've got to think a little bit about coffee. I've got to think a bit about my gear and where I'm setting up. Safety first. I'm not working around heavy equipment today, so I'll just be wearing enclosed shoes. I'm not going to worry about a dust mask because I'm out on the balcony and I've got the breeze at my back blowing any sawdust and any particles away from me. So it's kind of an extraction, nature's own extraction system. So any dust particles or anything that's coming off the job will be blown away from me. So I won't be wearing a mask. I've got my glasses, which is as much eye protection as I think I'm going to need. And as I said, everything's blowing away from me, so the way I'm set up out there, it's not an issue that I'm going to get any, you know, dust or crap back up through my system. This is Chinese, remember, so who knows where it was made and what was there when they made it. So you want to be a bit careful with it, but as I said, well ventilated. The wind's kind of breezing across the balcony there, and I'll be working on there. So I'll be able to look out at the beautiful trees, like that monstrosity of a frickin' building that they've built. You know, since we last saw it, they added another 6 stories to it, and it's still going up. They haven't finished going up because the crane keeps going up in the air, and every time I think, well, that's the top, they put on another 6. They're doing it, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories at a time. And they push it up another 6 stories and do another 6. So this thing's going to be pretty tall. It's blocking out our sunrise. It's blocking out what little view we had of the bay. You know, don't get me started. I love my coffee. Right, I'm going to go enjoy my brekkie. And then think about my gear. I'll bring you guys along for the ride. I've got the tripod set up over here. Charged up the little camera. I don't have to worry about that just at the moment. That's me little... It's actually a portable soldering kit is what that is. It's a butane powered one. And I've had that for a lot of years. Let me think. That's 15 years old, that kit. Had it for a very long time. I've had tools that are older than that, but that's always worked reliably. And again, whenever I use it, I make sure that I give the nozzles a clean so that they stay clean and they stay well and truly serviceable. Everything is, if you look in there, I should show it to you. Here's my nozzles. It's been used probably about 30 or 40 times in 15 years. And I loaned it to a guy, and one nozzle's come back looking like this. Right? But when I use them, they look like that. See the difference? This is why you should never loan your shit out to people. It just never pays to loan shit out to people, ever. That belongs up there. I don't know what it's doing there. Yeah, he didn't actually use the solder. That's the original solder. That's 15 years old. It's probably full of lead. That's for putting it in your pocket. Why you'd put something like that in your pocket, I don't know, but there you go. And there's the piece. Actually, I'm going to leave that out. I'm going to clean that. I can't stand people giving me crap. See, when you loan something out, that was to do some fine stripping. Probably 5 years ago. That's been sitting in there like that for 5 years. So I haven't noticed that before now. I kind of have noticed it, but haven't done anything about it before now. But all that shit that's on there, I'm going to clean that within an inch of its life and take it off. So I'll take that over to the sink and give that a clean. That's stainless steel. I've got a Brillo pad over there at the sink, and I'm going to rub that up and see if I can get that off. I should be able to, because it's actually coming off with my fingernail. Look at that. It comes off with my fingernail. So a Brillo pad will probably bring that back to pristine, which is what it needs to be when I have my tools. I should have done that. No excuses. I've got a beautiful little blower burner nozzle. I can draw with it or colour in with it. And yeah, I need to get into some breakfast. I need to get into this job. Alright, so just let me get breakfast done with and we'll get into the job. I hadn't intended to do any tool maintenance today, but as you can see, I rubbed it down with the Brillo pad and it's pretty good, except that it's got crusties up under there. Now wonderfully, it comes apart. So, bringing you along for the little ride. The locking nuts. And out she comes. You can see the crusties that are on it. And the crusties that are on that. And the crusties that are on that. Back to the Brillo pad. Next time you see it, she's going to be good as gold. Let's pause this. And then what you find underneath, anodized brass. So what you thought was stainless steel is in fact anodized brass. This is steel. Right? Now that bit there is definitely steel, but this is anodized brass, as you can see. Surprised me. Okay. So we'll put it back together. Just clamp it back where it was and put it away for next time, where I can find it. You guys seriously don't want to see me doing up a screw, right? It's 2 screws. Well, they're actually little nuts, bolts. They're little Phillips head bolts. They just clamp that blade in place, and that's ready to go for next time. Completely clean. No crusties on it. Should have been done years ago when it was given back to me. I didn't check it. I seriously didn't. I knew it was there because, well, I knew it was there because I had it out about 6 or 7 days ago to do some work on zooming. I actually used that to heat up a stubborn nut. I'm serious. I used it as a flamethrower to get a stubborn nut off, and it worked. It worked a treat. I went right on the edge of the thread, right around the edge where it was in the middle. I went round and round and round and round with it, and I could smell the heat off the metal. I said, well, that's enough, and I just went and crack, and off she came. So how handy was it? We were in that for, I don't know, a good 30 minutes before I used that, and it did the trick. It was the exhaust mounting bracket on Zoomy where it wasn't the ones going up into the motor. It was the bracket on near the muffler. So it was the lower mount which had heated and expanded and heated and expanded, and it had got itself wedged into the frame. So what I did was I just put heat on the actual bolt. It was a hex Torx bit bolt. I heated that around the thread where it went into, or disappeared into the frame. Put the Torx bit into it, and it went, and it came out without cracking, without breaking the bolt. I was amazed, absolutely amazed, but it worked. All right, let's put this away. We'll be ready to go for next time. See, he even painted the bloody, he even painted that for me. Is that coming off? Yeah. It's a bit of paint on the outside of my case. It gives it some character, makes it feel loved and used. As I said, a little bit of maintenance. That's the complete kit along with the thing. That's how it came. I don't know what it cost me. It was a fair bit of money. It was an expensive kit. It's a high quality one, and it's lasted the test of time, so I want to look after it. Put my tools away, go finish my breakfast. I'm just finishing my coffee. Yeah, finish my coffee and get stuck into the job. Hey, welcome back. Well, that escalated quickly. Mr. South Main Auto Repair's favourite thing. Was all set up to do the sanding yesterday. Had my gear all ready in this clover, and I said yesterday, because 24 hours have gone past since you last saw me, you might notice I've had a haircut. Didn't cut the front, I just sort of tidied that up. It was a home job, real quick one. Soon after I was recording yesterday, I got an email from the Department of Transport. They can't issue my new warehouse license, operator's license for driving the forklift, because my photograph is too old. So I quickly tidied my hair with the clippers in the bathroom. Thought I'll duck down there, take me 20 minutes. Took me 20 minutes to get there. Took me another half an hour in queues to get my photograph taken, and another 20 minutes home. And I find Mrs. Wiley at home. They sent her home early because there's just not enough work for her, and so then she wants to get things done, and that's the end of the day. So I spent most of yesterday with Mrs. Wiley getting things done, and today we get into it, and it's drizzling with rain. So Project Violin is a no-go. I keep thinking about this design I want to put on the wood to make the violin unique, and I want to do a practice one before I go anywhere near the actual violin, because I've never done this before, and I think it might be interesting, but I need to find myself a suitable piece of wood that I can, with similar properties to the bamboo. There's some plywood I've got downstairs. It's for beehives, and I'm not really sure I want to damage it, simply because it's hard for me to come by this stuff It costs money, and I don't like spending money. I haven't got any. It's in storage too, so I have to get it out of the bottom of my storage lock-up downstairs. So I know exactly where it is, and I know it's going to be a mongrel. I've got to unpack a bunch of things to get to it and then pack it all back in there. It's going to have to be done anyway, so I guess it's a job I can do. But it's a different day, and this day has already gone to shit. I've got a phone call to be somewhere at 11:30. That's an hour and a half away. I got dressed, ready to do the, as you can see, got my working clobber on. Got dressed, ready to do the thing. Already the day's gone to shit again. I think the world is conspiring against me. Yeah, I haven't got a job. Just quietly, we've got a pretty good welfare system in Australia. If you don't have a job, there is unemployment for you if you're an Australian citizen, and you can pick up the dole and, you know, what I call the dole. It's not much money, but it's enough that you can buy food and you know, get yourself by, get yourself into some cheap accommodation. Now this week, Mrs. Wiley's only got a few hours work, so our emergency funds have taken a big hit to get the rent in, and we had to pay the rent, so it's come out of the savings. Well, it's come out of the emergency fund. Now if they don't give her enough work next week, we're going to be in big trouble, because it's going to pretty much clean that emergency fund out, and we're in trouble. We've got to get income. So there's that. She'll have to find something as well as me, you know, and she's got more experience in cleaning now, so you know, she should be okay to find something else if they can't get her enough employment there. She's just getting casual work there. And the casuals, when it gets quiet, the casuals are the first ones they lay off, and they've laid her off. They've only given her five hours this week. And you can barely pay the food with that, you know, because it's minimum wage and it's not much money. But it pays the rent, you know. It's enough to pay the rent usually, and that means that my money pays the food, and if she gets a bit extra, then they take that off me, you know. So anything she earns over a certain amount of money comes out of my amount of money. But when she earns under, they don't give me more. You see what's going on? So she's earning under, and excuse me. Excuse me. But there is good news. 35-cent coffee. I love this stuff. Righto. Overcast, drizzly day. Can't work out on the balcony. It's too wet out there. If I do any work at all, it has to be inside or under the house, under the unit. I can work downstairs, but it's dark and I have to light the area. There is power down there, but it's you know, it's frowned upon them when you use it. I don't give a bugger about that. If I've got to use it, I'll use it. I can set up a little table and a little chair downstairs and put the whole thing on a little table and use this portable light I've got behind me and just light the thing. Go down there and use me bit of fire, and I can't use it out there. It's not going to be safe. Excuse me, I'm a little bit stressed out. And I've only got an hour and a half anyway, so what's the point? By the time I set up, I'll have to pack it up and go. So today's a write-off. Tomorrow, let's see what the weather does. Might be able to set up on the balcony if it's alright. If it's raining, you can't set up out there. It's too dangerous. And it's not fair to the other tenants. and it's a weekend, so you can't, again, the other tenants are here, they're all working people, so during the week they're not here. But if it's a weekend, everyone's here and there's kids running around, it's not really fair to sit up out there on the balcony. So what do? You put it on hold, you get a day during the week that you can use. If I get a job, then I've got to find somewhere I can go, a little men's shed or something that I can go. I'll just pay them a bit of money and finish the projects off over there. Anything like that, you just got to be off site. You know, it's a weekend thing. I'll go get myself a place at the men's shed and do it there. It costs money to be in those places, which is fine. I can make B-boxes and do stuff if I've got a bit of money. You know, if you're working, you've got a bit of money. If I'm surviving on this, once I get a job, I'll be in the lap of luxury. Anyway, there's not much around in the way of the work that I want to do. If I get the graduate position, I'll be laughing. I really will be. Leonie can quit working, and you know, we can start to move forward. We've got to get that job. But in the interim, I can get any job. Which is why I need that forklift license. Okay, so Project Violin out the window. Tune in next time. Can't do it anyway. Make good decisions. Do good things, keep on swinging. I'll see you at the next video.